The Case of the Vanishing Stars, a galactic mystery. It was a still night on the planet of Zedek, a world suspended in the vast blackness of the galaxy, where starlight filtered through the sky like soft whispers from the void. The universe, eternal and unyielding, was quiet, as if it too held its breath. But for the inhabitants of Zedek, the stars had long been their guiding lights, their symbols of hope and promise. And now, as they watched in horror, the stars began to fade, one by one, slipping away into nothingness. This was no natural occurrence. This was a mystery, and it was up to Thaddeus Malik, the finest detective in the galaxy, to solve it. The stars were disappearing at an alarming rate. Zedek, located on the edge of the Andromeda cluster, had always been a peaceful world, devoted to knowledge and the exploration of the cosmic mysteries that lay beyond. For centuries, they had studied the stars. Some were ancient beings of light, while others were young, radiant, and full of promise. Now, without warning, their guiding lights were vanishing, one by one, as if a malevolent force were pulling them into the depths of the void. The scholars of Zedek had called it the eclipsion, a phenomenon that no one could explain. Thaddeus sat in his darkened office on the 12th floor of the Solarium Tower, the pinnacle of scientific research on Zedek. The office was filled with books, journals, and star charts, reminders of a lifetime dedicated to unraveling the mysteries of the cosmos. His desk, however, was a mess of discarded papers, scattered maps, and ancient texts from the farthest reaches of space. In front of him lay the latest transmission, a report from the Zedek Star Observatory. "Malik, we need you. The stars, they're vanishing. It's happening again." The transmission was from Dr. Evelyn Heil, the chief astronomer of the Zedek Observatory. She had been one of the first to report the anomaly, but her latest communication was filled with dread, an emotion that was rare in the scientific community. The case had drawn him in like a cosmic pull, a force that transcended logic and reason. Something about the disappearance of the stars had unsettled him on a deep, almost spiritual level. The stars, after all, were not just burning spheres of gas. They were symbols of hope, of knowledge, of something far greater than themselves. And now they were being stolen from the night sky as though they were nothing more than fleeting dreams. Thaddeus had spent years studying the stars, their origins, their journeys through the heavens. But no matter how much knowledge he accumulated, the stars remained mysterious, unpredictable, and at times cruel. Still, he could not ignore the call to investigate. He had seen too much in his life to turn away now, not when something so profound threatened the very fabric of existence. He stood up and walked over to the massive viewport that overlooked the city, the expanse of space beyond. The stars glistened softly, but in his mind's eye he could already see the faint, inexplicable ripples that had begun to appear in the cosmos. It was as if the universe itself was unraveling. It was time to leave the safety of the Solarium Tower and head into the heart of the mystery. With a heavy heart and a mind full of questions, Thaddeus activated his communication device and sent a signal to Dr. Heil. "Prepare for my arrival. I'm coming to the observatory." The journey to the observatory was swift, as it always was. Zedek's transportation system, a network of sleek, interstellar ships, whisked passengers through the cosmos at incredible speeds. But as Thaddeus looked out the windows, something seemed amiss. The stars had always been his companions, their constellations mapped into his mind like the back of his hand. But tonight they seemed different. Their light was dimmer, flickering like the last remnants of a dying flame. And then in the distance he saw it, a vast, growing darkness in the heart of the galaxy. The eclipsion had begun. He landed at the observatory, a sprawling structure located atop the highest peak on Zedek. Its architecture was a testament to both scientific prowess and spiritual reverence. The building seemed to stretch toward the heavens, its pointed spires reaching out to touch the stars. Inside, the atmosphere was tense. Dr. Heil met him in the main hall, her face etched with worry. "Malik, thank you for coming," she said, her voice trembling. "The phenomenon, it's unlike anything we've ever seen." Thaddeus nodded, his gaze shifting to the large viewport that dominated the far wall. Outside, the stars were slowly disappearing one by one. It was as if an invisible hand was erasing them from existence. "Have you gathered any data?" Thaddeus asked. Dr. Heil nodded and led him to the central terminal, where streams of data were being processed in real time. The readings were unsettling. The stars, once steady in their positions, were now slipping from their places in the sky as if something was pulling them away. "It's not just a physical event," Dr. Heil explained. It's metaphysical. The stars aren't just disappearing, they're being unmade." Thaddeus frowned. "Unmade? What does that mean?" Dr. Heil hesitated. "It's as if their very essence is being erased." We've run simulations, analyzed the data, and even consulted ancient texts. This is no natural event. The stars, they're being siphoned, absorbed by something or someone. And I fear that whatever is behind this is more powerful than anything we've encountered. Thaddeus felt a chill run down his spine. He had always believed in the unseen forces that shaped the universe, forces that moved through the cosmos like currents in the ocean. But this was something entirely different. The stars were not just vanishing, they were being consumed. And with them, a part of the very essence of the universe was being stripped away. I need to know everything, Thaddeus said, his voice firm. What can we do to stop this? Dr. Heil paused, then turned to him with a look of grave determination. There's only one way to find out. We need to go to the source. But that means venturing into the heart of the eclipsion itself. No one knows what lies there, but we have no choice. If we don't stop it now, all the stars could be gone. Thaddeus looked out at the stars, their light flickering faintly in the distance. A heavy silence fell between them. They had a choice to make, either turn away from this mystery or face the unknown, knowing the risks. But Thaddeus Malik was never one to turn away from the truth. He turned to Dr. Heil, his eyes burning with resolve. Prepare yourself. We're going into the heart of the eclipsion. And so with that declaration, they set off toward the edge of the galaxy, where the stars no longer shone brightly, and the very fabric of the universe seemed to unravel. As they made their way into the darkness, the vastness of space began to feel suffocating, as though the weight of the cosmos was pressing down on them. The eclipsion was no longer a distant phenomenon, it was now something tangible, something real. Thaddeus could feel its pull, its insidious presence creeping closer with each passing moment. We're almost there, Dr. Heil said, her voice steady but filled with an undercurrent of fear. Thaddeus nodded, his mind racing. What could be causing this? What ancient force could erase the stars themselves? Was it a being, a cosmic entity, or something far darker, something older than the universe itself? The ship slowed as they approached the heart of the eclipsion, and before them, in the vast expanse of space, a swirling vortex appeared, dark, impenetrable, and infinite. It was not like any black hole or nebula they had encountered. This was something else entirely, something more ancient, more terrifying. As the ship neared the vortex, the darkness seemed to pulse, alive with a malevolent energy. The stars that had been disappearing were now swirling toward the center of the vortex, vanishing without a trace. This is it, Dr. Heil whispered. Thaddeus looked into the abyss, feeling the weight of the universe pressing down on him. The answers lay within this void, if they could survive long enough to find them. He turned to Dr. Heil, his eyes resolute. We go in. And so they plunged into the heart of the eclipsion, where the stars no longer shone, and the darkness seemed to consume everything it touched. What awaited them in this cosmic abyss was a mystery beyond comprehension. And as they ventured deeper into the unknown, Thaddeus knew that their quest for answers had only just begun. The darkness enveloped them like a shroud, oppressive and thick. As Thaddeus Malik and Dr. Evelyn Heil plunged deeper into the swirling vortex, the very fabric of space seemed to bend and contort around them. The stars that had once guided them through the night were now nothing more than distant memories, their light fading into oblivion. Is this the end of the universe? Dr. Heil whispered, her voice barely audible over the hum of the ship's engine. Thaddeus didn't answer. He didn't need to. The answer was obvious, written in the very structure of the cosmos, in the distortion of space-time, in the absence of the stars. They were in the heart of the eclipsion, a place where reality itself was coming apart at the seams. The ship's instruments flickered erratically as they neared the center of the vortex. Every reading, every data point they had gathered up to this point seemed to become irrelevant in this place. It was as if the laws of physics themselves were being rewritten, and Thaddeus felt as if he were floating between worlds, no longer bound to the laws of the known universe. We're close, Thaddeus said, though even his own voice seemed distant, swallowed by the surrounding darkness. A sudden jolt shook the ship, followed by a series of disorienting flashes of light, strange, ethereal patterns that danced across the viewport. It was as if they were passing through a realm where time and space were no longer fixed, no longer predictable. The ship groaned under the pressure, its hull straining against the invisible forces that tugged at it from all sides. Then, without warning, the ship lurched forward, and they broke through a threshold into an even more bewildering space. Before them lay an expanse of absolute nothingness. No stars, no light, no recognizable form of matter. It was a void that defied all comprehension, an absence that stretched beyond the edge of the known universe. And at the center of it all was a singular, pulsating orb of light. Thaddeus's breath caught in his throat. This was the heart of the eclipsion, the source of the anomaly that had been devouring the stars. The orb was both radiant and dark, a contradiction in itself. It flickered like a dying star, but at the same time, its glow seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. It was as if it contained the very essence of creation, and yet something about it felt wrong, twisted. "We need to get closer," Thaddeus said, his voice steady despite the unsettling sight before him. He knew that the answers they sought lay within that orb, but he also knew that whatever force had created this phenomenon would not let them find the truth so easily. The ship crept forward, its engines humming in response to Thaddeus's commands. The closer they got to the orb, the more oppressive the air seemed to become. It was as though the very atmosphere was charged with an energy that was both alien and ancient, a force that had been waiting eons to be discovered. As they neared the orb, Thaddeus felt a strange pull in his chest. It wasn't a physical sensation, but a deep, spiritual pull, like a force beyond time and space was calling to him. He couldn't explain it, but it felt as if the orb recognized him, as if it knew who he was. "Do you feel that?" Dr. Heil asked, her voice strained. "It's as if it's alive." Thaddeus nodded slowly. "It's more than alive. It's ancient. It's been here since the beginning of time." The ship finally came to a stop in front of the orb, and for a moment, everything was still. The hum of the ship faded, and an eerie silence settled over them. The orb flickered again, and in that brief instant, a vision flashed before Thaddeus's eyes. He saw the stars, billions of them, burning bright in the vastness of space. But they were not just stars, they were beings, each one a sentient entity, each one connected to the others in a web of cosmic consciousness. And then in the blink of an eye, he saw something darker, a vast, black void that stretched across the universe, consuming everything in its path. The stars were vanishing into this void, their light snuffed out as though they were nothing more than fleeting moments in the grand scheme of time. And at the center of this void was the orb. Thaddeus gasped, his hands gripping the ship's controls tightly. The vision faded as quickly as it had come, but its message was clear. The orb was not just the source of the eclipsion, it was the key to the destruction of the stars and possibly the entire universe. "We need to destroy it," Dr. Heil said, her voice tinged with fear. "If we don't, all the stars will be gone. The universe itself could unravel." Thaddeus hesitated. Destroying the orb? Was it possible? And if it was destroyed, what would happen to the very fabric of existence? Could they truly erase something so powerful? But the alternative was unthinkable. If they didn't act, the darkness would spread, and the stars, those eternal symbols of hope, would be lost forever. He turned to Dr. Heil, his eyes filled with resolve. "We have no choice." Thaddeus activated the ship's weapon systems, but just as he was about to fire, the orb pulsed with an immense surge of energy. The ship shook violently, and for a moment it felt as though the entire universe itself was rebelling against them. "No!" Thaddeus shouted, but it was too late. The ship was torn apart in an instant, the explosion of energy sending them tumbling through the void. The last thing Thaddeus saw was the orb, still glowing with a haunting light, as the darkness closed in around them. Thaddeus awoke in a place unlike anything he had ever seen, a realm beyond time, beyond space, where the boundaries of reality seemed to blur and fade. He was no longer in the ship. There was no ship, no familiar surroundings. He was alone in an endless expanse of light and shadow. A voice echoed through the void, ancient and wise, yet filled with sorrow. "Thaddeus Malik," the voice said, "you have come to the heart of the eclipsion. But it is not the end. It is merely the beginning." Thaddeus's heart raced. "Who are you?" he demanded. "What is this place?" The voice responded, its tone gentle yet firm. "I am the watcher of the stars. I am the keeper of the cosmic balance. And you, Thaddeus, have been chosen to witness the unraveling of the universe." Thaddeus struggled to comprehend what he was hearing. The universe is ending? The voice sighed, and the expanse around him seemed to shift. "No, Thaddeus. The universe is transforming. The stars do not vanish. They evolve. They are part of something greater. A cosmic cycle that transcends even time and space. The eclipsion is the catalyst for this transformation. The stars are not dying. They are being reborn." Thaddeus's mind reeled. "But the stars are disappearing." "They are not disappearing," the voice explained. "They are being remade. The eclipsion is not an end but a beginning. The stars are evolving as all things in the universe must. You, Thaddeus, have glimpsed the truth of the cosmos, but your journey is far from over. The light around Thaddeus intensified, and he felt himself being pulled forward, deeper into the mysteries of the universe. He could feel the pulse of the stars, the beating heart of the cosmos, flowing through him. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, the vision faded. Thaddeus awoke on Zedek, back in the solarium tower, the world around him still and silent. But something was different. The stars had returned, shining brighter than ever before. The mystery was not over. It was only just beginning. The case of the vanishing stars is a reminder that the universe is far more mysterious than we can ever comprehend. The stars, those ancient symbols of hope, are not fading away. They are evolving, transforming into something greater. But the journey to uncover the truth is only just beginning. What lies beyond the eclipse? What secrets does the cosmos still hold? Join the conversation. Leave a comment below to share your thoughts on the mystery of the vanishing stars. Don't forget to like and share this story with your friends and fellow explorers of the cosmos. Let's uncover the secrets of the universe together.